Going over to the political part podcast, you have Dearborn, Michigan residents voicing their concerns over what they are calling a Muslim takeover. Now, this brought to us thanks to Wall Street Apes. And he says, quote, Michigan resident exposes the truth about the Muslim takeover. And he just quotes her, and while she speaks infinitely more articulately than I, so without too much further ado, go ahead and maximize that on screen there.
So being that Dearborn has been in the news recently, I wanted to get on here and just tell everyone that I was raised 10 minutes from Dearborn. I spent a lot of time in Dearborn, and I know what goes on in Dearborn. So coming from somebody who was raised right outside of Dearborn, spent a lot of time in that city, I will tell you that what you are hearing is absolutely true. Now there's two parts of Dearborn, the east side and the west side. The west side is about 50% Christian, 50% Muslim. The east side is about 90% Muslim, if not more. The east side is where you hear that mayor saying that he's putting that street up named after a tea organization or somebody that was a tea. Yes, that is the east side by Warren Avenue. So as a woman that grew up 10 minutes from Dearborn and spent the majority of my time in that area growing up, I will tell you that a woman cannot walk down the street in East Dearborn and not get harassed in some way or even spit on. I've seen friends of mine get spit on for not covering their hair and their face. You will not pass a building that is not written in Arabic. You cannot read anything. It's like being in a third world country. Now I know that there'll be pushback on this video and people will say that's not true. American women can walk down the street in Dearborn. Well, I'm telling you right now that it is absolutely true. And I have several times walked down the street in Dearborn and been harassed. My friends have been spit on. And it happens every day down there. And another thing, I remember growing up, after 9/11, driving down the street, actually on Warren Avenue in Dearborn, and everyone, all of these Muslims, lined up on the street, cheering and screaming, beeping their horns. They were celebrating it, and that is exactly what they were doing. So yes,
the CIA agents? Kidding, kind of.
What you're hearing about Dearborn is absolutely true.
And there are more and more states saying they're going to commit to make sure you're blocking it in terms of trying to enact Sharia law. But yeah, things like that are trending, so to say. And this went pretty viral, got about 600,000 views and 26,000 likes. Which, yeah, that's it's definitely different than the Polish immigration that happened about 100 years ago. Michigan's definitely changed throughout the years. It's crazy to think at one time in history, Detroit, Michigan was the third richest city on the planet. Then I would argue through mismanagement and as well as increase the cost of goods sold, the consumer in terms of, skyrocketing rates of labor, the audio industry left, there were riots, and the shitties never recovered. Though I'm sure like the city of Chicago will be good any day now. Dark humor political pun. Yeah, it's been about 100 years of the same management in Chicago, or as they call it, Chirac. I don't suspect they will get any more livable anytime soon, or attract any businesses to move there anytime soon. They seem to flee, just like in the case of Michigan and California and other places like that. And yeah, that's definitely a big culture shock for a lot of folks. I don't think a lot of people realize how much Michigan has changed throughout the years. And I used to grow up, back when I grew up in the Midwest, we would go to Michigan all the time and go to the ball game. Well, back then it was the Michigan Wolverines. Well, they're still around. They don't win very often, I don't believe. And they wanted like $55,000 per year for college. So I'm like, I'm not going to that school. Yeah, but nevertheless, it's an instance where, yeah. And another interesting fact, the Dearborn, Michigan police were about 3% Arab. Now, was it police chief said is 45% or 48%. Now, again, it's not like they're a monolith. Not all of them are going to think the same way or act the same way. I do wonder, if you're on the police force, you believe in Sharia law, you believe in, maybe you just came here, your allegiance is more to your religion than the actual law you're sworn an oath to. Would the police officers stop the guys from spitting on her? Would they protect her? Or would they turn the other way? Again, I'm not insinuating that'll happen 100% of the time, but that's a variable to think about. And we're seeing a lot more, and again, you've seen a big shift in terms of lack of assimilation throughout the past, I would argue, 20 or 30 years, especially. I come from a family of immigrants. My parents came here, or my mom's side of the family came here from one of the worst places on the planet, Cuba, right when Fidel Castro took over. Though the joke is, she went to the one place on the planet worse than communist Cuba, Southside Detroit. But I mean, there's an instance where, they very much assimilated. You'll never see a Cuban wave the Cuban flag. That's disgusting. They failed dictatorial hellhole. They waved their American flag. They learned English. And they all became, contributing members of society. They assimilated. Again, I'm not saying these other people won't. We're definitely seeing a culture shift in this regard. And a lot of Republicans are making a lot of money saying, vote for me. I'm going to fix everything. I'll get these people to leave. I'll deport them. How? A lot of these folks came here legally under the Biden-Harris administration, as well as Obama administration, over the course of decades. Now, granted, it's been ramped up exponentially past, 5 years. But again, we also have freedom of religion in the United States. I don't think the founding fathers could have comprehended having such a religion that is going against many of the morals values they espoused and they believed in when they founded the country. But again, in the United States, we have freedom of religion, freedom of association. It's an instance where, it's now legally she shouldn't be abused like that. The piece of shit who did that to those women should be arrested or fined and arrested, etc. Have their day in court. But yeah, there's a lot of people raising money, I think, unethically, saying like, "So vote for me. I'll solve the problem." Yeah, again, they don't give any cliche politicians. They don't give a single truth. They don't give a single answer to how they would do that. But it is quite scary to see that cultural shift. And again, Trump controversially did make English the official language of the United States. Personally, I think that should have been done over 100 years ago. But yeah, it's kind of unusual to go to a main town and most of it, the signage is no longer in English. Now, it used to be, when I grew up, one of the most cool, unique experiences, you go to Chinatown, we're in a very small section, you see, all the signs, you'd buy fireworks and the yin yang balls that make noises, the meditation balls. And it's pretty cool, but like in terms of the main area, there's more of a melting pot. And people would come and they would, you'd have a unified language. That's very important. And I think we're seeing that less and less. But maybe I'm alone in my analysis. Maybe everyone is in the comment section is saying, oh yeah, no big deal. Hey, you'll wear a burka, you'll be happy. I'm sure Nike will make a nice one. Now, go to the comment section. The first one comes to us thanks to Based Electrician. And he says, quote, I think it's time for the United States to invade Dearborn, Michigan, getting 345 likes. MAGA 1775. Let me actually like that. MAGA 75 says, quote, been hearing this for years and the media keeps gaslighting us. This isn't Islamophobia, it's people living in parts of Dearborn, Michigan. Parts of Dearborn, Michigan aren't American anymore. That's a problem, getting 77 likes. Let's see. Got a contrarian statement brewing to the surface. Darnell Jackson says, quote, white people let them into the country. Now white people complaining, getting 20 likes. Well, that is kind of I don't know if it's dark humor or ironic. When you look at who's usually abused the most by people who are coming here new, they're usually liberal white women they want that. Again, I don't think anyone should be abused. That's why I'm a big fan of the Second Amendment. I think everyone, especially women, who are mentally, able-bodied in terms of you have your mental capacities, you should have a firearm at all times to defend yourself the most effective way so you're not abused. And then Darnell Jackson, going to the comments to see if his ratio, he did get 21 likes, not from me. He has someone by the name of Eric Castro saying, quote, white Democrat globalist let them into the country to try to destabilize us from within. This has nothing to do with the average citizens, getting 24 likes. As youth might say, he was ratioed. Let's see. Steve Miller says, bad American people let them in to destroy us all. Color has no role. Character does, getting 3 likes, which, yeah, I would say it's all about culture. Going to the main comment section. One from GoPoundSand4555 says, quote, historically, the 2 largest destroyers of life have been communism and Islam. The Democrats have embraced 2 of the deadliest ideologies in history, getting 470 likes. Mrs. B has the compilation of Afghanistan 1970 to 2012, Iran 1970 to 2012, Europe 2015 to 2050, and yeah, they all got those burkas going, getting 233 likes. Yeah, Mrs. B, I forget. This is that washed up loser. Who's that washed up loser? An actor. He's a leftist. Robert De Niro, is that him? He says, "Quote: Do you really believe that Islam is a danger to every civilization?" And Joker goes, "I do, and I'm tired of pretending it's not." Getting 126 likes. Mrs. B has all the memes. So we're gonna get some other folks here. Let's see. Jeremy says, "Remove all of them from within the United States," and they has a picture of the Islamic logo, and they say, green check marks over beheading, burning people alive, cover your ears if you're actually listening to this part of the show. Definitely not appropriate for them to hear. It's a hostage taking, yes. Female genital mutilation, yes. Honor killings, yes. Slavery, yes. Oppression of women, yep. Jihad, yes. And hurting kids the worst possible way, yep. Getting 232 likes, which, yeah. Let's see here. SNK says, "These are the same people who scream and cry about the Jews all day on the internet. Macho Mods and Mohammeds." It says, "Religious concept that allows Muslims to lie," or Takaya. I'm definitely not purposely trying to butcher the pronunciation, but it's kind of the default of my ineptitudes that tends to happen from time to time. And it says, quote, "A religious concept that allows Muslims to lie, deceive, or hide their beliefs if it helps spread Islam or protect its agenda. Don't be fooled by the mask. Sometimes tolerance is just a strategy." Getting 250 likes. Let's see. I just screenshot stupidity says, "Miss Michigan 2025. It's a girl in a full dress. Getting 61 likes. Going down more and more. A lot of people just the random memes or memes. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. And again, hopefully people stop getting hurt and are abused like the way she's noting in Michigan. But I'm pretty pessimistic, but let me know your thoughts on what will happen. I'd be fascinated to hear, as always, what do you have to say? Hey. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, try to get to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so click that button. I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, and comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback. Let me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone, everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.